sunk that buzzer beater in the Fast Five World Series final. So yeah,
Disappointing us New Zealanders for days to
hey,
come.
it's about time we won one of those Fast Fives. I've been there for 3 years. I needed one title.
Yeah.
I think that that's probably why that grand final hurt a little bit more. Was I really believe that it was our game to win and was so invaluable for me. And when she tells me off for taking someone else's drive or whatnot at training, I'm like, please, Gina, give me all of the information. I love it. I just want to be a sponge in that space.
Mm.
Um, oh, tough question at the end there, Toby. Oh my God.
Kia ora Nipple Scoop whānau, and welcome back to the Sporting Scoop podcast. My name is Tobey Keddy, and in today's episode, I'm very honoured to introduce, we have Australian Kelpie 102, and he was also the captain of the Australian Men's Fast Five team. Please welcome Liam Forcadilla. Liam, how are we doing today?
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on, Toby.
Oh, well, no worries. Thank you so much for coming on. I mean, I feel like I kind of have to start off this interview with something not netball.
Mhm.
You have just come on from a trip from the Philippines. We saw some amazing photo on your Instagram for your sister's wedding, which congratulations to Jasmine if she's watching. How was the trip over there?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, I'm half Filipino, so it was lovely to kind of get back to some familiar roots.
Mm.
Yeah, it was a beautiful wedding that my sister had kind of like a private island rented for the last 2 weeks. And it was amazing. We were swimming in the reef every day. We were swimming with turtles. I got to see Nemo, which is cool.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, but no, it was amazing and nice to kind of relax on an island. I think it was actually 20 hours after I got off the plane from men's nationals. So yeah, it was a quick turnaround, but
Yeah,
I'm glad I did it.
yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, it must have been so special to have seen Jasmine get married, obviously, as the eldest of five, I believe. But I'd love to kind of hear about the Forcadilla beginnings. I mean, you were born in Sydney, I believe, and with a family that kind of has an interesting mix, as that I've seen through my research of creative pursuits or athletic pursuits. I mean, what was it kind of like growing up in the Forcadilla household?
Yeah, I am the eldest of five, and yeah, I think all of us kind of have that mix between creativity and sporting passion, I guess. I mean, I myself am a graphic designer in my
Mm.
day job. Well, I moonlight as a graphic designer. I really think I'm a netballer. But yeah, so I think my mum's been the creative influence, I think, and both her and dad grew up playing sport.
Mm.
My dad being heavily involved with our sporting achievements growing up, being a basketball coach, or yeah, both of them being massive supporters of ours. But yeah, it's been really interesting to see how, like, even like for instance, Jasmine, she plays NBL one. She's yeah, killing it with her basketball still, but has this amazing art business that she's got up and running, which is yeah, been really cool to see how the juxtaposition, I suppose, of being like a sporting person, but also that creative.
Yeah, and I mean, as I did my research, I did notice that a lot of your beginnings was centered around that basketball. So I know that your sisters played basketball over in America, and you also played in the NBL one. But I'd kind of love to hear what drew you in a way to basketball, and was it kind of like you were brought along with your sisters to the games, or did you kind of start that off for the Forcadilla family?
It was actually it was prompted probably by a move from Sydney to the Central Coast here in New South Wales, and
Hmm.
um, yeah, we were fresh to Terrigal, I suppose, and my sister had actually started playing netball through some friends from school, and one of the coach of the team actually worked at the local basketball stadium and suggested that I come play basketball with her son because I was yeah new and needed to do some sport, and that's kind of how I fell into it. I mean, being half Filipino, they love their basketball, so my dad was thrilled that I was doing it, and yeah, I kind of I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was athletic as a child, so I kind of just took to it really quickly. But yeah, basketball's been yeah the biggest love of my life, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a constant in our family for what the last like 25 years.
Yeah. And I know that when I was researching your beginnings about netball, I mean, you it was kind of during an off season of the NBL one where you started playing some social netball. And was it right that you were just scouted at a random social game? Is that correct? For the New South Wales representatives? I mean, was it kind of with your attitude towards netball, was it like, I'll just give it a try? Or did you kind of already know that netball was a game that you could kind of see yourself making your way through and enjoying?
Well, honestly, I had no idea that men's netball actually existed at that point. I mean,
Mm,
I was just, yeah, playing with friends socially, and I was really, really enjoying it. And it was giving me a different challenge to basketball. I mean, basketball I've been doing 3, 4 times a week my whole life, and
yeah.
I was kind of getting to a point where I was staying with basketball for the social aspect, but and the physical aspect. I love exercising, but I was looking for a new challenge, and that's what I started to find with netball. And yeah, it was yeah, just by chance that someone from Men's Netball New South Wales happened to see me play and was the manager, I believe, of like the under 20s team at the time. And yeah, just said that there were some vacancies. I mean, sometimes in our junior teams, we struggle to find players to go to nationals. And so it's not abnormal for our committee members to go to local courts to see what junior boys are playing and to try to get them into the men's space because there's still that gap that needs to be bridged a little bit from the ages 12 up to our under 17 sides.
Mm.
But yeah, no, it's been a bit of a wild journey, I guess. Yeah, picked off the streets is what I like to say. Yeah, but yeah, I had no idea that men's netball existed.
Yeah, and I did find that quite interesting because I think at least with my conversations with Dylan and Cruz, they kind of grew up with the system. They played alongside the women's game and then transitioned their way through. But I have also noticed that with the Kelpies, there's a lot of basketball influence in a lot of your players. I mean, you have Liam Kiley, you have yourself. You also played with like a Patrick Pillier, very basketball heavy or basketball style kind of players. But I mean, for you, was it kind of hard to go from the basketball movement and the rules to then going from netball, which is completely different in the stop-start nature of it? And did that take you a little while to get used to?
Oh, definitely. I remember my first assistant coach, Mark Kerr, would scream at me at trainings
Mm,
because I was stepping all the time. And and it definitely was like a big focus of mine was like how do I get my footwork under control? And
mm,
but at the same time, I was like, I think I was coming back into regular season for basketball, and I remember I'd just been doing all of this training over like the December, January period, coming into basketball and getting absolutely burnt every time I was in like my defensive stance because in
mm.
netball they teach you have narrow feet, stand upright, but
Yeah.
basketball's completely different, and it was kind of like, oh, how do I navigate going in between the two sports, which kind of prompted me to actually kind of choose one of them and go, I'm
Yeah.
not enjoying this basketball anymore. I'm going to put this aside and kind of go away to national and see what this netball journey and where it takes me.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that actually, kind of how hard that decision was, because I'm sure you would have had to have picked one or the other. But I'm guessing based on what you just said, it was kind of you fell out of love with basketball and you wanted to progress with netball, which has been for you quite steadfast. I mean, at least in your domestic side, you won 3 national championships with New South Wales. In 2017, it was a tight contest with Victoria. And also a little fun fact for the viewers, your little brother Eduardo also won a championship that year with the under 17 team. And then 2018, you had that larger differential against Queensland. And then 2022 was an absolute blowout of Victoria, which I bet you kind of wanted to happen this time around. Um, Playing with some amazing players like Stephen Philpott, Taylor Glassey, Patrick Pillier, Josh Byron, etc. I mean, how has it been playing with a team like New South Wales? And has there been anything interesting from those final games that you kind of remember?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I was very fortunate enough that actually in my second year of netball, I was picked in the New South Wales Open men's side.
Mm,
I think I was picked well when I was 20 and still very raw and still trying to figure out whereabouts I fit in with netball, I suppose. Initially, I had been picked as a bit of a goal attack center, dabbled in goal shooter, but that was kind of it. And
Yeah.
we had plenty enough good shooters that I was able to just slot straight into the midcourt and stay in as a center. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I mean, you just mentioned some absolute legends of the men's netball game. I mean, I think at our 2018 side, we look back and I think nearly every single one of those 12 players have played international netball for one country or another. I mean, Pat Pillier's he's played mixed for Samoa and New Zealand. We had legends like Cam Powell and Matt Lettieri play, and Val Horn, who is Kiwi by nature, by birth, sorry, but ended up being an Australian captain himself. So
Mm.
yeah, it was amazing to learn off these people, and I think that the warmth and generosity that I experienced from these experienced players has really informed how I want to go about guiding this kind of next generation through. I mean, I'm not 30 yet, but I'm still starting to feel like I'm one of those older players just because I've been around Opens division for a really long time, and yeah, I just want those young kids to kind of have that belief in themselves that they can go out there and be world beaters, because that's what I had when I first started playing open men's.
And I mean, you can kind of see with the trajectory of the growth of men's netball, there's also that growth of the younger players, especially very young players being in those top teams. I mean, you can even see that with in the Kelpies, you've kind of got Ronan Prigg, you had Jordan Webb, Wade Moore kind of coming through in your Kelpies side. Kind of how is that with being in the New South Wales environment, at least, that you are able to kind of foster these younger players in this Opens team to have these amazing careers go forth as one of the more experienced players?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for like these fresher boys coming into our spaces is just feeling like they're valued and feeling like they can contribute no matter what their experience level is. I mean,
Mm.
you've seen. I call them like my little babies, but Joe Miller and Jack Vandervelde
Yeah.
have this is like their second and third, I think, years kind of in the Kelpie space now,
Mm.
and they've only been in the open men's division for an extra year on top of that, both in their mid 20s. And um, from the moment that they joined the team, I was, yeah, very vocal with the fact that you guys have as much to contribute to this as I do. And
Mm.
just because I see something one way doesn't mean that you're wrong in seeing something a little bit different. And I want to be able to have that collaborative approach with you. And I think that that's, I mean, set us up to have such an amazing, exciting combination in the midcourt where all three of us were all-star sevens at nationals and going into the Kelpie space and kind of dominating that midcourt together. So yeah, with the likes of like Jordan Webb and Ronan and Wade debuting for the Kelpies in 2 weeks' time now.
Mhm.
Super excited to see what they bring to the space and the excitement and energy that they're going to bring, especially having played with them at Fast Five as well. I can't wait to see what they go out there and do.
Yeah, and I mean, your team, as you've just mentioned, has just come off that Nationals campaign down in Victoria, to which sadly, second final in a row against Victoria with the close loss. Yeah, which must have been tough. I mean, and obviously, I've talked about that with Dylan as well, that it was such an exhausting week, and it's always such a big week. Is it 8 or 9 games in 7 days? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Roughly, especially because you also made that prelim final. Kind of, firstly, generally, how did that week kind of go for you guys? And then I'd love to also hear about that intense grand final.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like we addressed a lot of the areas of I guess that needed improvement from our 2024 campaign, and
Mm.
I think that we actually had a really great week out there. We had built really nicely. Obviously, we'd taken that round game against Victoria as well, which
Hmm.
set up, yeah, really interesting 3-game series, I guess, kind of against them. Heading into the grand final, we were one win apiece, so it was always going to be a tight battle. But yeah, I think that that's probably why that grand final hurt a little bit more. Was I really believe that like it was our game to win, and even I think we were in the lead with 3.5, 4 minutes to go, and I was pretty devastated actually afterwards. And it's taken me 2 weeks really
Yeah.
to kind of recover from it, but yeah, I'm really proud of the effort and growth that we've shown, and and the performance that we put out there, it's been referred to as one of the best grand finals in recent history. And I really truly believe it's one of the best games of netball that you can see going currently. I mean, it was so physical and intense and fast. And yeah, really proud to be a part of it. But I just, it's sport. There's always got to be a loser, and I just hate losing.
And I mean, you can't even like watching that game, you couldn't really fault either side because it was so closely contested, and both sides are stacked with talent.
Mm.
And like even like beyond that, you guys, most of the Kelpies and former Kelpies are in there. Like you even have players like Deepak Patu in there. But I'd love to kind of also talk about just with the New South Wales team being so stacked, including that entire midcourt being selected for the upcoming Aurora Series. What did you think was missing, I guess, from you guys during that grand final match? Because the experience and talent was there.
Mm. I just think we've got the talent all across the court, and I think we've got the
Yeah.
depth as well. I think we just need to pay a little bit of credit to Victoria's defense end in particular. They are
Mm,
world class with like Alistair Punchin, Josh Byron, Jake
mhm.
Hendricks, Ronan Pring, as you mentioned, is about to make his debut as well. And they're not just aerial, they're fast, they're physical, they can do the groundwork as well. So I think that just in the end, they kind of wore us down a lot. And I'm sure that we'll uh, go back in 6 months' time when we retrial for New South Wales and kind of go, how do we combat that? How do we what's our plan B? What's our plan C when things aren't going right in our attack end? I mean, our defense end also won a lot of ball as well. Victor
Yeah.
Nikolic did an amazing job on Liam Kiley too. So, yeah, I think that there's lots to take away. We have come a long way since 2024, and yeah, it's just what's next.
Yeah, it's just that extra step. Somehow you'll get there because it will
We
happen.
will. We will.
Um, Yeah, and I'd love to also just talk about because obviously we've talked about the depth of men's netball right now, especially in Australia. That game was phenomenal. And with a lot of men's athletes now being asked to come into the women's environment, I guess you also have experience with this, with being a training partner for the Giants. Kind of what is that difference between playing and training in the men's game versus then transitioning over and being a training partner for the women's game?
Mm. I think the biggest area of growth that I've learned is all about my preparation.
Mm,
I think, like, for instance, when I come into the Giant space, I'm kind of getting there at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and our court session might not be starting until 9:30. And
yeah.
that hour and a half is that physio prep, it's doing all your prehab, it's fueling as well, and like having access to that sort of nutrition side of things too. Um, and yeah, coming into the space, I was like, why am I here for a 4 hour window, my first session? But it
Yeah.
just makes a world of difference as well. And it means that you can compete longer and harder for that training session. And it's something that I've now been able to bring into my men's game. And I really think that that's helped a lot with how I've been able to last out in games, and especially in a tournament style play like nationals as well. Definitely when it comes to actually competing, it's much more aerial in the men's game, and it's much more physical as well. And I think that that's why the Giants have brought me in, is to be that kind of point of difference where I can slot in anywhere from goalkeeper to goal shooter and kind of challenge and push these girls, depending on what they need. But also my learnings from the girls is just how technically sound they are.
Mm.
Their footwork, their pass execution, and tactically as well. They've just that they can all see something different and read something different, and they're able to like bring that together. And yeah, it's made me think of how I play a little bit more differently as well.
And I mean, you must be learning so much from like Jamie Lee Price, Maddie Hay. You even have Gina Crampton on the bench just as a wing attack center. And then you have the experience of like a Joe Harton or something like that. So, what has it been like being able to create a connection with them, but also being able to get little tidbits that you can bring into your game?
Oh, it's been super invaluable. I'm really enjoying playing with them. The creativity of Joe Harden and her leadership as well has been great to learn off. And even having the preseason to play with Gina and see
Mm,
how she goes about her business as a wing attack and really control that attack end was so invaluable for me. And when she tells me off for taking someone else's drive or whatnot at training, I'm like, please, Gina, give me all of the information. I love it. I just want to be a sponge in that space.
Mm,
But the Australian girls are just as good, if you know what I mean, to
mm,
learn from. I mean, the physical battles that I get in with Jamie Lee, Amy Sliger,
mm,
oh, Maddie Hay, her and I get into tussles all the time. But also to see the flair that like a young Hope White has is super exciting
oh,
and challenges again the way that I think and see, because I go, oh, how did she get that pass off? How did she access that space? So
mm.
yeah, it's yeah, incredible. And it's a different battle to what I experience in the men's space because they've got that footwork, they've got that prelim movements. Their change of direction is insane as well.
And I would love to kind of move on just for a little bit from netball, just to hear about your journey outside of it. So I know, as you mentioned before, you are a graphic designer. You also have some previous work experience doing some social media stuff. I'd kind of love to hear what brought you into that field, and currently with your job as a graphic designer, what does your current work entail?
Yeah, so coming out of high school, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. I was always very creative, like my family, and I actually started off studying primary school teaching at uni, and kind of got 2.5 years into a degree, and was not really loving it, to be honest. And I
Yeah,
was like, "Oh, this isn't for me. I can't really see myself like staying in this career for a really long time."
yeah.
And being at uni, you meet lots of different people, and I one of actually a girl that I kind of played basketball and uni games with. She was becoming a graphic designer and talking to me about her work, and I was like, "Whoa, this sounds like really cool. Definitely
Mm,
down my alley." Always had passion for like photography and stuff growing up as well. So yeah, I just decided to change degrees and had a bit of an interrupted journey, I suppose, with COVID and moving around a little bit, and only graduated at the end of 2023. So I've
yeah.
been, you would know that you've done the research, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. But no, yeah, it's been amazing. It kind of it plays into my strengths of being a strategic thinker and a problem solver as well, which is things that I find I'm quite good at on the netball court as well as the ability to be a bit creative, which is awesome. Currently, I'm working for a company called Collab 6, and they're in the prop tech consultancy field. So that's real estate. Um,
Mhm.
he provides services for real estate agents to help them kind of rebrand and stand out in the market a little bit better, designing their social media suites, yeah, their branding as well. So it's been, yeah, super interesting to kind of get into a niche sort of market, but it's also I mean, I'm able to work, I work from home 5 days a week as well, and they're really excellent about me being able to go away and do my netball stuff too. So I feel like I've kind of found that sweet spot of I'm allowed to work, and I work really hard, but they also yeah, and super proud of me as well for my achievements on the netball court.
Yeah, I was going to ask if it would be quite hard to fit that kind of job around netball, but it must be a job that you can bring with you, I guess. So,
Definitely. I do find when we go away on our tours, there's not as much downtime as you think. And even when they say that
mm,
it's downtime, for me, I find that I need that downtime for sleep or extra physio or things
yeah.
like that. So I've learned over time now that just doesn't work for me, unfortunately.
Mm,
But if I need to do a couple hours here or there, that's so fine, and I can do that. Yeah, they've been really great. Like for instance, working around my Giants schedule each week. So as I said, I might do one or two kind of half days in at Giants a week, and then I just pick up the hours, whether it's late at night or early mornings on other days. And yeah, as long as I'm getting that work done, they're happy.
yeah, and I mean, I'd love to transition now into your Kelpies career. I guess you started in 2022 during that first televised game against the Net Blacks. Firstly, what was that feeling like? Because I can imagine it must have been, Dylan said he was, stone cold, just went and did the job. Other players were very much like, oh my God, it was so overwhelming that I almost, couldn't draw myself out of it until near the end. kind of where did you fit on that scale between Stone Cold Dylan and then the other players that were a bit all over here?
Hmm. Um, yeah, I mean, kind of stepping into that open men's space internationally for the first time was the whole experience was just insane. From
Mm,
even from going away and doing a selection camp before that, it was just yeah, it was everything. I think was just mind blowing, and it was like dreams were coming true,
yeah.
and it was dreams that you didn't even know were a possibility, I guess,
Mm,
because it had never been the space had never been kind of experienced by us before. So every new experience was just yeah, mind blowing. I actually remember our walkthrough of Spark Arena, which was game one,
yeah.
in the day before for captain's run, and that was really emotional. Just like walking through the tunnel and just like the stadium kind of opening up and going, this is going to be like filled with people not
Mm,
necessarily coming to watch us, but they're coming to watch the Silver Ferns versus Diamonds. But still,
yeah.
there's going to be people in this massive space, and they're going to be able to watch and experience our game. And
Mm,
then also kind of knowing as well that it was going to be televised, the same as the girls. I mean, these are the games that you invite your team around on a Sunday and you sit around, have a few beers and snacks, and you watch
yeah.
like the girls play. And to know that we were kind of be going to be stepping into that space was yeah, mind blowing. But I'm glad that we had that walkthrough because when it's game day and as soon as you line up for that anthem, I kind of switch into game mode. I get that white line fever, so to speak,
Mm,
and all I think about is just that netball and doesn't matter who's watching in that crowd. So I guess I kind of fluctuated it in the middle there. But
yeah.
as soon as that game was over, I actually think I've got a photo of me having a little cry on Ned's shoulder, just like can't believe it. I just couldn't believe it had
Yeah.
happened. That's yeah. That was something that I got to experience. I'm very, very lucky and privileged to be playing in this era, I suppose, of men's netball.
And I mean, especially during that first game, it would have been a lot of people's first taste of watching men's netball, I guess, because it hasn't been as accessible to the general public. I would love to hear also kind of the reactions you were getting, because I'm sure you must have been flooded with congratulations and stuff like that. But also, you must also get messages all the time of, you've inspired me to play men's netball, or I'd love to know where to go. Kind of how did that also eventuate?
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of grown year on year as well. I mean, the more that we play these televised games, the more our sport has been growing, which is
Mm,
super exciting. But also, I suppose, yeah, you're right. At first, there was a few messages here and there, and people were tuning in. But I remember it was our 2023 series, and it was our game in Brisbane where we had people barking at us in the crowd because we'd just been called the Kelpies for the first time,
yeah.
and like that was like oh that's amazing when people start recognizing you at airports or even like sometimes I get recognized out when I'm out and about with friends. It's like that sort of thing. It blows your mind to think that that is happening and people are recognizing you just from playing sport, I guess, because again, like that's something that we hadn't ever experienced in this men's netball space. It's been yeah, it's been amazing, and it's been amazing to know that you are inspiring this next generation. I actually keep thinking back to these. I've had a few moments, especially at this last nationals. I mean, I've been a part of the AMNA family for nearly 10 years now, and going to these nationals every year. But this year was the first year that you can see the shift now with like the under 17s, even from other states or under 20s players who are just in awe to see you play and meet you, I suppose. And that was so amazing to see that like we are role models for these kids and the sport is growing so much. And that's yeah, that it fills your cup a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with how the Kelpies have progressed over the last couple of years. I mean, last Trans Tasman series was an absolute blowout. The goal differential, I think, averaged around 42 goals. That's not seen in sports very often, that dominance, like especially with a 42 goal differential. I mean, you guys are clearly pushing the momentum forward with this growth of men's netball through the grassroots as well with these inspiring performances. But I'd kind of love to hear, how do you think, in order to keep yourselves, not almost stagnating, but getting complacent with this dominance, how do you see yourself kind of pushing things forward? And maybe even trying to push things like doing a Kelpies versus Diamonds televised game or something like that.
Yeah, I think that that was kind of a big focus of ours last year was the theme of day.
Mm,
The program Nerida Stewart's kind of for us has been life changing to say the least, and the support that the AMNA governing body has given to us as well has been incredible. And it's really shaped. You're right, a program that is kind of driving men's netball forward. And we have this saying where it's not just a you get picked for a team, you show up for trials, and then the work starts. It's we've got this 12-month mindset where we don't switch off. We're constantly training like we are in the Kelpie space because we do sign a 12-month contract.
mm,
And that's I think a big part of why we are able to put out such dominating performances, because we are so much fitter and so much faster, and we're kind of living and breathing being in this high performance space for 12 months, even though
mm.
we are still paying to play like
Yeah.
everyone else in the men's netball world. Yeah, I think that the this Aurora series is another step forward for men's netball. It's the first time that we're taking the sport to the Northern Hemisphere, I guess. I
Mm.
mean, we versed England in one Test match back in 2022, and I'm super excited to see how they've developed, because I know that that scoreline was about a 46 goal win, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, them being on home soil and not having to fork out thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, I hope that that means that they get more players that are available to play against us, and it's a great three match series. But yeah, I mean, would love to see us play the Diamonds. We have great preparation against them before our Trans Tasman Constellation Cup uh, tours, and we even like last year spent a few days at that Australian Institute of Sport with them, playing against them, but then also kind of mixing in with them and having some good hit outs as well. So yeah, I love that we've got a working relationship like that, and it would be really interesting to see how we would go in a televised match against them.
I mean, as you mentioned, you've got the Aurora Series coming up with the English Thorns, three test series played in the UK, kind of as curtain raisers for the Netball Super League. Firstly, how are you feeling about the series? I know you guys haven't done a lot of training together yet. I know that kind of happens when you head over to the UK. But yeah, how are you feeling about the series? And also, what are some things that you're most excited for, not only just from the Kelpie side of things, playing the Thorns, but also you'll be going to the UK. So how excited are you about that?
Super excited to go across to the UK for the first time. Yeah, that's a big tick off the bucket list, I guess. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing these debutantes kind of step into the open men's Kelpie space for the first time. We've seen them at Fast Five before and know that they can step up and produce the goods in the big moments. So yeah, super deserving. For Geordie, Wade, and Ronan to put on the big boys uniform, I guess, and step out on court. I think that, as you mentioned, yeah, we don't get to train together beforehand, but as I mentioned, it's a 12-month mindset being a Kelpie, and we know our systems and structures inside out. And so for the nine of us that have been in the space before, I think it's just going to be like riding a bicycle. We're just going to get back in and get those combos rolling after a training session or two. And we're lucky enough that we have played with the three debutantes before, so I'm sure that they're going to slot into our structures seamlessly. I'm really excited actually to see the type of netball that we put out there in the Aurora series.
And to quickly mention those debutantes, as we've mentioned before, we had Jordan Webb, Ronan Prang, and Wade Moore. I mean, kind of, do you have any little interesting tidbits about any of those players, or kind of what will they bring to your Kelpies environment individually?
Mm. I think all three of them are electric when they step out on court. They're some of the fastest players I've seen. Jordan being obviously the goal attack that sunk that buzzer beater in the Fast Five World Series final. So yeah,
Disappointing us New Zealanders for days to come.
hey, it's about time we won one of those Fast Fives. I've been there for 3 years. I needed one title.
Yeah.
But no, Geordie's an excitement factor. He's creative. As I said, he's super explosive and quick. A nightmare to defend when he does step into the midcourt, which he could do as well. Wade and Ronan, again, exciting. They will win you ball. They're both wing defense, goal defenses. Ronan, in particular, has spent a lot of time recently out at wing defense, and he is taller than I am. He's longer than I am. He's faster than I am. I
Mhm.
find him probably the hardest wing defense to play against currently. And he does a lot of really good grunt work. Equally as effective in the circle. And Wade is an excitement factor. He's super explosive, and his read on intercepts and high balls is exceptional, especially for someone that's a little bit shorter as well.
Yeah, and I mean, we also got to talk about those really established combinations of the Kelpies that are going over. You have like the Liam Kiley and Brodie Roberts shooting combination for Victoria. You have the three New South Wales boys, Joe Miller, Jack Van der Velde, and yourself, and that midcourt with Riley Richardson. And then you've also got that defensive duo of Al Punchin and Josh Byron from Victoria. I mean, they're solid combinations, like very, we've seen them in the Kelpies environment before. They've absolutely decimated the competition before. Kind of, what do you think you guys need to do in order to elevate, I guess, in terms of shooting end? You're bringing in these new players. What do you think they will bring into those kind of combinations, working with Liam, working with Brodie, etc.?
I think the biggest thing that we really drive forward in our style of play is that discipline,
Yeah,
is making sure that no matter who our opposition is and whatever they're going to throw out against us, we're doing the basics really well, but also like we're being really disciplined. So we're not throwing those long balls every time just because we can to Liam. We're
yeah.
really chip away, work it to circle edge. We're going to keep our turnover rate low, but also do the grunt work in defense as well. I think that a big takeaway from the Elevate theme last year, when we were winning games, I mean, we won that first game by 50 against New Zealand. And so what kept us motivated and going were
Mm.
winning those little KPIs, making sure that we were hitting all of our goals on every area of the court, and that kept coming back to our discipline when we come out on court. And I think that that's something that those younger boys that they know it already. They've been at our trials and training camps for the last couple of years themselves, and on the precipice of cracking Kelpies before. So I know that they'll have that knowledge to step when they step up. They've just got to knuckle down and do the grunt work.
Yeah, and I mean, we can't talk about your Kelby's experience without discussing two things. One, the first thing I'd love to talk about, not love, obviously it was a very tragic time, but it was the infamous, social media storm that happened during that NC dance. I mean, those comments were horrendous from obviously not the netball community, because obviously the netball community as a whole is very accepting of what you guys are doing, but also the fun, fast five elements that you guys were just embracing. But yeah, you guys were getting horrendous hypermasculinity and homophobia comments. I would kind of love to hear from your side of things. Were you well aware that that was going on during the tournament? And also, how did it kind of feel to go through potentially the first public controversy of men's netball in a way?
Mm. Look, we kind of had similar comments the year before when we'd done the nut bush, which is
Yeah.
an Australian staple. You do it in primary school, you do it at weddings. So
Mhm.
when we were getting those kind of comments the year before, we were a any publicity is good publicity. We got a lot of fans and followers from that, and
Mhm.
um, yeah, we also were like conscious of, oh, let's not do something that's going to cause too much of a stir. And so we'd seen this dance on TikTok, and we thought that's easy enough. It's like 4 steps.
Yeah.
It's chill. But I think it's just the fact that we were really good at it
Yeah.
that caused a lot of a stir. And
Yeah.
yeah, obviously, Fast Five is just a 2 day tournament, and we had played 2 games on the Saturday, so we hadn't really been on our phones much. And Ed had kind of messaged me and said, "Oh, can we have a quick chat before the grand final?" And I was like, "Yep." And she was like, "So this is blown up way more than we thought. Let's like have a bit of a blanket rule. Everyone, we're going to stay off our phones until after the grand final."
Yeah.
Um, I knew that I had to go on the project. Straight after the grand final as well, because it had blown up that much that they wanted live access.
Yeah.
And so we were conscious of it, but we were off our phones and we didn't really understand. But it was kind of the subsequent days afterwards that we went, oh, this is massive. And you're right, it was the people that aren't in the netball world that had everything to say about it. But I think that from that came this overwhelming wave of love and support, not just from the netball community, but from a lot from the wider community who were showing us support, but also loving what we were doing as well. Because not only were we really good and we won a World Series title, but we also put together a choreographed dance that was pretty slick.
And I mean, even though that dance was literally just inspired based on the Deadpool Wolverine scene, and to think that there was no even connection from those kinds of people that they probably had gone and seen that movie and loved it, and then it was just some netball players, men's netball players, and they went absolutely ham. I could not believe it. Um, but also I would kind of love to hear, based on that response that you guys got from the netball community, kind of how has that felt being coming from a game that is very embracing of, what men's netball is doing, but also accepting of like LGBT athletes and stuff like that. Has that been kind of nice coming into a sport that's like that? I'm not sure how basketball necessarily may be, but I know in New Zealand basketball is quite a predominantly straight game, and it's very much a exclusive kind of thing where it's not very accepting in that regard. How is that coming from? I guess maybe is the Australian game sort of similar, or
Yeah, I think that that's definitely something that helped influence, I suppose, my switch over from netball,
mm,
sorry, from basketball to netball was the fact that I was at that time figuring out my sexuality and learning where I kind of fit into the world, I guess. And at that time, I didn't particularly find that I didn't feel like I had a place in basketball, being an LGBT person, and so coming into netball and just seeing the amazing community there and the acceptance from day one
mm,
was probably a massive influence into why I did fall in love with the game. I mean,
yeah,
I feel like we play sport not just for the physical side of it, but for the social aspect as well.
gotcha.
And I'm really proud of the community that we have in particular in Australian men's netball, because not only is it safe for any athlete and to be a queer person as well, and you're celebrated and loved and accepted, but also like, I mean, you got to give like the straight boys some props as well. They're breaking
Mhm.
down stereotypes themselves just by playing a female dominated sport, and I know how much flack they cop sometimes as well. So I think that's probably the thing that I'm most proud of over the last 3 years is the way that we are able to showcase this beautiful community that we have, and really like stay true to it as well. Because it's strong and we are unbreakable because we are together and we've got each other's backs.
I love it. I love it. And secondly, something else I'd love to bring up, it's something a little bit more lighthearted than the first one. I would love to discuss the social media presence that you and the Kelpies boys kind of have during your series. I mean, especially you and Drayvon, whether it's you guys roasting each other or doing little lip sync videos to that Just Eat song or Crazy in Love. I mean, what is that camaraderie like as a team? It must feel so special being a part of a team like that that just works together, can roast each other. And also, is there any special memories that you can think of off the top of your head just from one of the series that you'd like to share?
Yeah, look, it is like family, I have to
Mm,
say. We spend 3 to 4 weeks like basically living with each other. So you get to know each other pretty well. And especially those boys that I've been on tour with for, well, this will be our 4th year together.
mm,
Yeah, it is pretty special, and it's amazing that you can roast each other, be super honest and blunt. And I feel like that sometimes bleeds into the netball aspect as well, because you can have those open and honest conversations about our performance and about things that aren't working on court as well. I mean, I'm really lucky enough that I'm getting married in 3 months' time, and I've got those Kelpies boys and my New South Wales boys coming to my wedding as well. So
awesome.
that's it's really special that we've got that bond. With regards to the social media aspect, I guess I feel like we're just doing the same stuff that we see the girls players do. It's
Mm,
yeah, well, I don't think we're trying to invent the wheel, but again, maybe it's because it's that men's netball aspect of it, and it's kind of yeah, it's new for a lot of people. Sometimes it blows up and you get
mm.
a lot of attention, which is yeah, exciting that we can showcase our personalities as well in that way. And it's great that like someone as an outsider as yourself has been able to pick on up on the fact that we've got that banter and we've got that roasting ability and
Mm.
we've got that close connection.
I mean, yeah, like because something that have talked about with a few different players, or especially like within the netball scoop realm, is that that is something that the women's game is still trying to develop, is that social media presence. And I guess you guys as a collective and you guys as individuals have been so good at it. And I guess, yeah, obviously every team and every athlete in the world kind of have that distinct brand where they're able to do it. But for some reason, what you guys are doing is able to break through that mold and become viral. Because I remember that Justin Eats video. I think they got like, was it several million views
Yeah,
or
something like that.
something
Yeah.
like that, which is crazy
Yeah.
to think about. But I think it's definitely a reflection of what you guys are doing is that you're unapologetically yourselves. There's clearly a very strong connection to what you guys are doing. Um, and I mean, one of the reasons why I would wanted to talk to you for this interview and in my final question, just because I can see that throughout your journey and when you talk about netball, I can tell that you love it. And as a big fan of not only yourself, but men's netball as a whole, it's really refreshing to see lots of players that just really love the game, really love the camaraderie of the players. And I can see you always on social media, you support your fellow athletes, you talk about netball with such a joy in your face, the dedication you have to netball. I mean, I think you're the only player, don't quote me on that, that has played in every Fast Five and men's series so far.
Yeah.
So I'd love to end it on a pretty general question, but it is kind of, I'd love to you to take it wherever you want to go. What does netball mean to you?
Oh, that's a big question.
Take your time.
Actually, I'm getting a little bit emotional thinking about it. Netball has given me so much. It's um sorry, I just need a second.
Okay.
uh, I think that netball probably has allowed me to really flourish firstly as a person. It's given me the the space and the community to know that I am celebrated and I'm loved and I'm accepted. And that's been a massive part of not just me as an athlete, but me as a person. And purely off that, I am so thankful for netball. And I do think that community is one of my biggest drivers for this because yeah, it's I just didn't have this role model, I suppose, as of a queer athlete growing up,
Mhm,
and the fact that I do get to be that for somebody, if
mhm.
I am that for somebody, that just it means the world. Um, it's it's yeah, it's that family away from family. It's that chosen family that I love, and it's in particular this Kelpie space as well. I just think that it's changed my life for the better. I don't think I've ever been fitter. I don't think I've ever been sharper. But I haven't I wouldn't have had these amazing experiences that I've had over the past 3 years, getting to do firsts in our space, getting to play with absolute legends of the game, but also getting to meet some of my netball idols as well. I still remember my first Fast Five um, tournament and the fact that we went out to the same pub as Silver Ferns girls and Diamonds girls was mind blowing to me, and being able to foster these kind of friendships with them as well. Yeah, it's a massive part of my identity, and I'm so proud of the space that we have and the opportunity that we have, and yeah, it has changed. It's just changed my life for the better.
Well, Liam, thank you so much for coming on today. I mean, didn't mean to end it on a cry note, but also I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on. It's been really amazing to hear about your journey, and also I can just see how much, as I said, that you love netball. And I feel like, the Netball Scoop community and also myself really connect to you in that way. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much for having me, Toby. That was great.